Susan. On behalf of the City of Hamilton, welcome to the 2024 Hamilton, Ohio Neighborhoods Summit. Hamilton, Ohio, a city that Bram Sarber calls the greatest city on planet Earth. And you know what? He's correct on that. Looking at this book, these are incredible breakout sessions. They really, really are. I mean, each one is excellent. It talks about leadership, how you can be involved, how you can fund special events. One of them really caught my eye. It said, dreamers to doers. I think the Smallwoods are doing that one. But that's kind of what this is all about. Believers to doers. Visionaries to doers. And I believe I look out there, we're all doers. We all want to do something to make this city an even greater city. And thank you for all that you've already done and all that you will do in the future. Now, also look at the very back of the program, and you're looking at sponsors who are individuals, sponsors who are our business partners, just super groups in our city of Hamilton. So please continue to work with them. And I'm going to kind of do what Xander does today. Hi, Xander. I know you can't talk, but I'm kind of doing what he does. He listens. Doesn't talk, but he listens. So I am just going to predominantly just like listen today and just soak up all this great conversation which leads to doing. So on behalf of the City of Hamilton, thank you all for putting your time, your effort, your resources in to the greatest city on planet Earth.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm John Zeri. I'm the principal here at Hamilton High School. And on behalf of Hamilton High School and the Hamilton City School District, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2024 Hamilton Neighborhood Summit. This event's a great opportunity for us to come together as a community and bringing together neighborhood advocates, our elected officials, business innovators, nonprofit leaders, educators, and our youth representatives. The theme for this year's summit, how do you do? It serves not only as a warm greeting, but it's also an invitation for all of us to explore how we can become more actively involved in our neighborhoods. It's a chance to learn, to share, collaborate on ideas that will drive positive change throughout Hamilton. I'm proud that Hamilton High School is hosting this event today so we can foster connections that will help energize and sustain the momentum in all corners of our city. I hope today that you can embrace the spirit of this year's theme of how do you do and discover how we can contribute to build together a more vibrant Hamilton. So I hope you have a great day. Welcome to the 2024 Hamilton Neighborhood Summit. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Jessica Valentino from First Financial Bank.
Good morning, and thanks, John. So my name is Jessica Valentino, and I'm a district leader for First Financial Bank, and I'm very fortunate to manage our offices in Hamilton. I get to come to work each day in this terrific market and work with our associates at the High Street, Hamilton Crossing, and Washington Boulevard offices to support thousands of residents and businesses in Hamilton. As someone who not only works in Hamilton, but also has the privilege to work with a number of other great organizations like SELF and the Hamilton Chamber, I know how committed this community has been to help all of Hamilton grow and prosper. As a recent graduate of the Leadership Hamilton program, I also have learned how much more potential we have as a city. First Financial was introduced to the 17 Strong program late last year and immediately said we're in. We absolutely love this program. We not only want to support it financially through the sponsorship of events like this, but very much want to support the projects, programs, neighborhoods, and all of the work that you guys are doing. We have a number of very unique and special mortgage and small business programs and products that we know can truly help expedite the revitalization of some of our neighborhoods and also help local businesses grow. Finally, we have more than 100 First Financial associates that live and or work in the community of Hamilton, and they volunteer their time and want to continue to do so. First Financial was founded in 1863 in Hamilton. This is our hometown too. We've grown, but this is literally our home base and is very much has a special place in our heart. We consider it to be our hometown too. If you want to learn more, please come see me and visit our breakout session. Thank you so much for all you do for the community. And I would like to introduce Kathy Klink to the stage, who is the 17 Strong Chair.
Good morning. I am Kathy Klink, co-chair of 17 Strong, and I'm absolutely delighted that all of you are here today. I also represent a very small group of Hamilton residents called the Friends of 17 Strong. We have a fund at the Hamilton Community Foundation, and this small group of individuals who rarely meet have been able to pull together the resources that sponsor our celebration breakfast and this summit, which then means that the other resources we have available are there for you, the residents, in the form of grants. So we're just delighted that we're able to sponsor something like this as well as our breakfast and have those other dollars for you to use. I want to thank our volunteers, our sponsors, our presenters, and of course our attendees. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you my friend John Gaduli, who is the President and CEO of the Hamilton Community Foundation.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone here. Great crowd, lots of energy in the room. We're excited to be here because we work very closely with 17 Strong, and as Kathy said, we have a fund at the Community Foundation called Friends of 17 Strong, where people can make contributions. So if you're so inclined to support the work that you see done, we'd encourage you to give to that fund at the foundation. But not only do we ask other people to give, we think it's important to lead also. So this morning I'm excited to announce that the Hamilton Community Foundation is going to make a contribution of $10,000 to the Friends of 17 Strong Fund. So.
How exciting and fun is that? That's how we continue to grow and be able to provide many new opportunities. It's my pleasure to introduce to you two outstanding educators who are going to share information with you about a very unique program. Joining me are Dr. Ande Durojaiye and Marni Durham. I would ask you at your convenience to read their bios in your program. You will see some amazing and outstanding efforts that they have contributed toward education. But when I read their bios, I also found a common theme. And I just want to share a few words because I think their theme speaks to what they are all about, particularly with this new innovation they're going to share with you. Ande is Miami University's Vice President and Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Applied Science. The theme I selected for him is, quote, empowering minds and strengthening communities to support economic, workforce, and community development. Just think about that for a minute. Marni Durham is the Assistant Superintendent for Butler Tech. And it's interesting to note that Butler Tech is the second largest career technical center in the state of Ohio, having 5 campuses and more than 18,000 students. The theme I selected from Marni's words, together we can drive the education revolution to ensure the health and wealth of every community. That's what Miami University Regionals and Butler Tech are all about. So here are my good friends to share more information with you.
Good morning, Hamilton. This feels so good. Some of you that know me personally know that my entire teaching career was at Garfield Junior High. Congratulations. Griffin exactly when I came in years ago. And my husband graduated from Hamilton High, growing up in Lindenwold. So this is truly coming home for me, being at Hamilton High. We love it here and love this work. And so we're super excited to talk about some buzz around the community about what is going on at Knightsbridge, right? What is going on? My career has led me to Butler Tech 8 years ago. And what we have done 8 years ago is introduce the education revolution. And within that revolution, you'll see on your cards on the front, it's a catalyst for change in the way in which we deliver education. And so when Mayor Moeller talked in the beginning about doers, when you're making change, you have to find partners that are doers. And we found that partner in Miami University, and Dr. Ande Durojaiye has been a pinnacle partner in making the education revolution. We're going to take you on a choose your adventure with the item that you have in front of you. But before we get into that, I'm going to let Ande speak to you.
Well, thank you, Marty, and I want to echo Mayor Moeller's comments, Marnie's comments, Kathy's comments. We're really excited to be here. Miami University is extremely committed to the success of this community. When I hear people say Hamilton is the greatest city in the world, having been here now 3 years working in this community, I tend to agree with them. I think we've got some amazing things. We have some amazing partners. And the best thing about our community is that we're in a room like this and we're all looking to work together. And so when you start to think about things like economic mobility, when you start to think about social mobility, when you start to think about community upward mobility, education has to be tied to it. One of the great things that Marnie and her team have done at Butler Tech is they've increased opportunity. And so when you think about what we're doing at Miami University Regionals, it dovetails with that. We want to make sure we can continue to increase opportunities for individuals right here in this community so that they can live, they can work, they can grow, and they can do a lot better and really continue to move the city forward. You think in the last couple of years, some amazing things have happened to the Regionals campus. Recently we announced our Hamilton Promise, where individuals right here in our community can now go to college and get their degree at no tuition cost. And I say that to say not because it's something Miami's done, but to say this is something unique to this community. No other community can boast that across Ohio. And so when you think about what you all have done and how we've come together to really put this community in the forefront and think about the future, it's really the work of the people in this room. So really excited about this, extremely excited about what's happening on Knightsbridge, and as we talk a little bit more, you'll hear more about it. But again, when you look at the larger educational landscape, when you look at the larger economic and social mobility landscape, we're doing the right things here in our community. We have to keep that momentum going. We have to make sure we have as many voices at the table. We've got to make sure that Hamilton continues to be the amazing place that it currently is.
Are you ready to choose your adventure? Okay. So you have this ring of cards in front of you, and Ande and I are going to go very quickly over the cards, but then we're going to give you time to look at them, talk to your partners about them, and then we'll come back for questions. So starting out with this education revolution, like I shared with you, Hamilton is the greatest city in my heart. The students that I met with in 1992 and throughout my entire career changed who I was as a person. Our commitment is to any student and any age. When you think about that, you might have a high school student in your life. You may be a student looking for adult education options, or you may be a student that is looking for that collegiate track. We are speaking to all of you and choose your adventure. So if you can look at that first card, we go to the education revolution, we flip it over. We are disrupting the assembly line model of public ed. That first card tells you a little bit about Butler Tech, and as Kathy had shared, we do serve 18,000 students a day. We're in 55 buildings. We have 4 campuses with 100% graduation rate on all of our campuses. We also serve 14,000 adult education students. And if you flip to that next page, you'll see Miami.
And so on the Miami cards, we just highlight some of the great things that are happening. I mentioned before our Hamilton Promise Scholarship, which serves students right here in our community. We're also really excited about our Work Plus program. Right now we have over 20 employers that are working with us, serving over 120 students. And so this is a program where students are working for employers, getting their tuition covered, and also getting experience. The reason we highlight Work Plus, many times people talk about internships and co-ops, and those are great opportunities. But the exciting thing about Work Plus, when you think about talent, and that talent war that we're all dealing with is, these individuals are already in the company. So it's an opportunity to really build them, advance them, and keep them in. And then lastly, I always want to highlight our ECA program. So 2 years ago, we launched a program right here with Hamilton High School, Principal Aries here, where we brought 20 students from Hamilton High to Miami's Hamilton campus. And these students took all of their courses on the campus, they engaged with our faculty members, and so this past spring, in May, they all graduated with their associate's degree at the same time they graduated high school. And they graduated at it with no cost. So really excited because Hamilton was the trailblazers about that. But it encompasses and embodies the idea of Miami University Regional that we want to increase access, we want to increase opportunity. And so finding ways to take away costs or minimize costs are key to how do we do that.
So if you flip past the Hamilton Promise, and can we just give it up for Miami and the city of Hamilton for the Hamilton Promise? I mean, seriously, that just blows my mind that people came together to do that. That is amazing. When we talk about Knightsbridge, we know that the resources are in a community to serve students. And so years ago, we started looking for money outside of public education in order for us to grow. Even though we serve a lot of students, we still have a waiting list every single year for students that apply to our lottery. There is no prerequisite to get into Butler Tech. It is a lottery system, but we still have thousands on the waiting list. So how do we grow? So we had reached out for funds, we had received those, and in a partnership with Miami University, we were able to purchase Knightsbridge. And the big question is, what is going in there? Very large building, 365,000 square feet, sits on over 50 acres. We are starting with the first 70,000 square feet in Knightsbridge. Yesterday, we had a meeting with 20 different business partners and some of our leaders from the city to talk about how they will be in that space. And so when you look at your cards, it says, "Together we build tomorrow's workforce." Those are the businesses that are still growing, that have already signed an MOU to be in that space. And then there's different ways that you can be in that space. That first card talks about being a strategist, and there's a definition. You can also be a collaborator with that definition, and then you can be an advisor with that definition. The majority of the businesses will be giving the students problems to solve or things to work through for the company. What happens is the student gets that experience. We are building a workforce where the businesses are influencing our curriculum. Students are able to take college courses if they would like to do that and then continue on. And our adult ed is able to do customized training all within that facility. We have Track Machine, who will be using us as a showroom so that equipment will be in that space where we can access it. Customers will come in, buy that equipment, possibly hire those students. We have places like Ready Cincinnati that signed an MOU, Ohio Means Jobs, the Chamber of Commerce from Hamilton will be in that space. Everyone will have a presence working together to support those students.
So that's really exciting, and it's also a lot of moving parts. And so the encouraging thing about this is, this innovation hub is an opportunity for us to really rethink education. You know, I love the way Marni mentioned that we want to, revolutionize how we teach and how we educate students. And so when you think of the traditional model of education where someone's standing up here like myself and Marni, and we're talking, we want to destroy that. We want to make sure that students are getting hands-on experience, but also we want to make sure students are getting a chance to engage with other students they may not deal with. One of the things that we hope in 2 years when you walk in that building is you won't be able to tell the difference between a Butler Tech student or a Miami student. You won't be able to tell the difference between an industry partner and a faculty member, because we want to bridge them all together so that when students leave the hub, not only are they ready to go out into the workforce, but they've got that experience and they can hit the ground running. They've actually seen the problems, they've worked on the problems at multiple levels, from multiple angles, and they're better for us. One of the things that we want to make sure, this is not a partnership in the sense where Butler Tech has a side of the building and Miami has a side of the building. In that 70,000 square feet that Marni talked about, we'll be co-located. We'll be using the same labs. We'll have classrooms where we have individuals at all educational levels in the space. We'll be learning from the same faculty and different faculty. And so the long-term goal is that when we do this, no matter what an employer is looking for, no matter what their need is, we can meet that need from all walks of life, from all backgrounds of education, and ultimately can lead to those positive outcomes that we know will come from this partnership.
So if you're looking at your cards, in January, we asked students if they would like to be a part of this cohort to have their educational pathway end up at that Knightsbridge facility. As usual, we got 3 times as many of the students that we need. So again, we had to turn away 2/3 of the students that did apply to be in this cohort. If you're looking at your cards and it says Advanced Manufacturing Hub, there are several programs. Students could sign up as a freshman this year, so they will join us in August of 2024, and they are choosing either the engineering pathway, the information technology pathway, the precision machining pathway, or welding. They will get a little bit of all 4 of those sections while they're at the Butler Tech main campus. However, they will choose which pathway speaks to them as they get into their senior year and they start working out of that Knightsbridge facility.
And so, as a student is going through those Butler Tech pathways, as Marni mentioned, there are going to be options for them to continue on their education and continue to grow it. Now, I'm biased. I hope all of them continue on their education and grow because I think it's a great opportunity. But one of the things we want them to grow into is the programs we have in our engineering technology department. Many of you all, I'm pretty sure, have heard about Intel, the big company that is opening up space in Columbus. And so we got a chance to meet with Intel's leadership. 77% of the workforce that Intel needs to hire is going to be at the associate degree level. And so when you think about that, and then you think about all the companies that are going to support Intel, there's going to be a huge influx of growth of individuals with the associate degree level education in engineering and technology. We have that program right here in Hamilton. We'll be able to really blow that program up right in the advanced manufacturing hub. And so we're super excited. And so one of the things Marni mentioned, but all of the pathways we're building, we want to make sure they're seamless for our students. So as the student starts their educational journey, they can begin it and end it as they see fit, but continue to grow, and those on-ramps and off-ramps can really help them as they grow their career going forward.
And that takes us to adult education for customized training. If you are working at a company or own a company that looks for customized training, Butler Tech can provide that for you, and then as a business in the state of Ohio, you can earn tech cred to get reimbursed for that money that you are using to train your employees through that customized training. And then on this last card, it just says One Butler Tech. That hashtag is very important, One Butler Tech. It is not just about a career tech school. It is about a community. It is about higher ed, businesses, elected officials coming together to serve all of our students. What's our time check? What we'd like to allow you to do at this time is look, what is it? Okay. Look through those cards for a good 5 minutes, talk to your neighbors, and then we'll come back together in 5 minutes so that you may ask us questions while we're here about the cards that are in front of you. Just shout out or raise your hand, whatever feels comfortable, and we'll, you know it's comfortable, we'll put a mic in your face. All right, there we go, right here.
Education has been very siloed, or is very siloed. So you've got K-12, then you've got higher ed. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've come up against with this partnership? Funding? Because this is awesome. Like, we do not see this very often, so.
This is new to all of us.
Yeah, the short of it is, I think the challenges are just the unknown. I mean, at a baseline level, when you have folks who have a shared vision, a lot of the bureaucracy and the kind of red tape we've been able to work through. I joke with it, but John Graffer's not here with us today. Me and John have been to Columbus probably 20 times. It's nonsense. But it's also exciting because I know that I have a partner, we have a collaborator that I know when I'm talking with him and Marni that we can do that. You know, Marni's been there as well. And so, you know, when you start to think about the challenges, I think sometimes the challenges are explaining it to the other individuals. You know, we get it, but how do we communicate it in a way that community understands it? Because, you know, as you mentioned before, education has been siloed for so long. But, you know, really I think this is one of the first steps that we're taking in trying to break down those silos. Because I think our siloed education system is what has led to barriers for a number of different groups. You know, we've said, well, this is the end for you. And what we want to say, there is no end, there is no beginning, but it's a continuous, you know, it's about, you know, learning and continuous growth and being a lifelong learner. And so that's the approach we've taken. And so really it's been logistics, as you can imagine. You know, we could always use more money, but I think ultimately we've got two great partnerships, two great entities that want to work together, willing to work together. And so it's been a, you know, it's been a long process, but it's been a really good process.
It's been asking people, why are we in competition? Because we're not, right? We're not. And when students come into that young age, they say, research says by 7th grade, whatever comes out of your mouth about who or what you're going to be comes true. So when you think about that, when you're in 7th grade, you start speaking your truth about where you think you're going to end up, it usually comes true. So working with the middle schools as well to say, we're here to protect your plan. This is not about my plan. I actually have shirts that say Plan Protector as adults. We're here for your plan and trying to decide what the on and off ramp is, and there's no shame and there's no blame. It's just celebrating where your goal is. And usually it stops at 12, right? K through 12. And it's like, if we can work together, it's really about the adults, never about the students, right? About the adults working together to say, we're gonna offer you these opportunities. We're doing OTC plus, right? So not just college credits, but adult ed credits being paid for while students are in high school to ensure there's an on and off ramp for wherever you want to go. So I love that question. It has been difficult, but we keep asking, why is this difficult? It shouldn't be, and now it's not.
Good morning, I'm Carice Drake at First Financial. I just wanted to ask really quickly about the business partner level. We were speaking amongst ourselves, and we thought from a basic skill standpoint, you know, from a financial education standpoint, to kind of match with the further education that you all are talking about. What are your thoughts around a business partner level being able to partner in that way?
Yes, and so we do 5th day experience at Butler Tech. I don't know if you're aware of this. Students go to school 4 days a week, and then on Fridays at Butler Tech, they do online, and they have about 40 to 60 options, depending on the week, for things to help them grow. They can take martial arts, or they can do culinary if they're in welding. My son got his EMT license while he was in the mechatronics program, but the #1 sought after item they do on Fridays is adulting. And so working with financial institutions to share with them how to do that properly. And the big question is, can we bring our parents? Yes! So we can talk after. I would love for you to join us on 5th day experiences and having a financial partner. We signed with Alloy Growth Lab downtown, which is an incubator space that has multiple companies trying to get started. They need that financial support. So I see financial institutions being in this space as well to support the businesses, not just the students. I'm sorry, oh, here you go, sorry.
Hi, I have so many questions. I am so excited about all of this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, question 1 and 2 kind of go together. I know, I want to tell everybody I know forever and ever. So before you had mentioned that Hamilton students can go to Miami for free. Does this apply to this school? And if so, will there be a future of maybe moving it throughout Butler County?
So that's a great question, and I will say the first, yes, this applies. So anything that's a program offered at Miami University Hamilton, any student who's eligible at Hamilton Promise will be eligible for that. So that's easy. Moving it throughout Butler County, that's more challenging, but we're open to it. I will tell you we're in conversations with some of our other municipalities about developing something very similar that we hope to roll out in the fall. So we will see more cities that are doing this, more homegrown scholarships to support their students. But you know what I would say is, I would love it to be throughout Butler County. I think the biggest thing is we need to bring the folks together, we need to bring the partners together and figure out how we can fund it. I mean, one of the things I always emphasize, especially about our regional campuses, when you look at the return on investment, it's the highest return on investment of any higher education institution in Ohio. And so when you think about that value and the fact that we can offer that value here in Hamilton, hopefully in other communities, at no cost to students, it's a huge, huge win. So we are looking how we can expand it, but we want to bring more partners, more municipalities, more communities together so they can see that value in it and really do it for their students.
Hello. All right. I had a question towards like the vocational side of that, because you guys are one of your partners is Ohio Means Jobs, correct? Ohio Means Jobs.
Oh yeah, they'll be in the space as well.
Okay. So they kind of partner with OOD a lot. And what does that pathway look for, like a student in Hamilton Public Schools that might have a 504 IEP, something along those lines, to where the pathway looks like to them to get into this program?
Yeah, so like I was sharing, great question. I was an intervention specialist, so it's in my heart. We have a full lottery program, so there's no prereq. We do not see anything. And when people say to us, well, you have a 100% graduation rate because you're picking your kids, right? No, we actually do not pick any of them. A computer does with no prereq information. We service right now 22% students on an IEP. Yeah. And it's really important to understand that, because sometimes students with a disability or a challenge don't do well in traditional education settings, need to be more hands-on, and career tech seems to be the answer. So absolutely apply. What happens is once you apply, we do an IEP meeting to make sure that the placement is correct in least restrictive environment, and we go from there. But there are no restrictions on that at all. And I wanted to share too with the business partner question, businesses are not paying to be in this space. They're not paying to be in this space. We ask them for their time and their talent to work with young people. So if you're a business out there, there is no charge to be in this 70,000 square feet.
Can we have one more round of applause for this amazing partnership?
Hey guys, please feel free to take these. They were designed for you to take these and talk to other people. But if you don't need them, if you would put them in the box on the way out for our next presentation. Again, we love being in Hamilton. We love this relationship, and thank you for your time.
All right, everybody. Can we get one more round of applause also for all of the people who have planned today's summit, our 17-strong board members, and all of our sponsors. My name is Jacob Stone Welch, and I have the honor of helping close out the summit with a list of housekeeping items. So, first on that list is, if you haven't already noticed, the bathrooms are in a couple of slightly obscured locations. First and foremost, we have one immediately to the left, my left, your right, as you walk out of the auditorium. The other one is up near the library in a hallway that comes off the side there. Look for the little signs. The second is, if you haven't found your program or all your goodies, make sure to look in your bag, because your program's in there, and it is amazing and chock full of information about all the great things that you're going to get to learn about today. Third, this is our second summit. We got a lot of new stuff. Are you excited? For the first time ever, we have community partners out in the main hallway, as you saw as you were coming in. Make sure to visit them as you make your way to and from sessions today, and especially during lunch, whenever they should be out there and ready to talk to you a little bit more about what they do in our amazing community.